So we're going to look at a couple positions here that I noticed yesterday with your guys. I went with most of more of the advanced guys, but they did a really good job here, and Cody and a few others. Your coach obviously did a fantastic job of getting underneath into like leg lock positions, which translates really well into the single leg X position, in particular with gi jiu-jitsu. So we're going to look at, I'm going to show you a few different ways how to get into the single leg X, maybe for different positions depending on what kind of guard player you are. I know some of you guys are fairly new at this, and I think after with some of the newer guys we'll look at some knee shield stuff, just a little bit easier stuff, and it'll be more applicable probably to your games right now anyway, but we'll do some continued with the
awesome. Yeah.
single leg X. So depending on what type of guard player you are, so one of the guards that I use the most is the Desaultels guard. So let's look at maybe our first one to make it a little bit easier. We'll just start with an open guard and how I use that to get into that single leg X position. Okay, so if he's standing here, so I have my sleeve control. I'm on biceps here, so I never want to be square out. I'm going to try to create an angle. So if I'm pushing this foot, my butt is the opposite direction. Okay, if I switch sides, I lift my hips up high, and it's like I'm stepping on his biceps. Okay, here. See, lifting my hips up nice and high. It allows me to rotate easier off my shoulder blades, and then I extend my left leg and I shoot my butt to the opposite direction. So I'm always looking here. Same thing if I'm looking to go into a lasso. Square up, back out, bicep, hips up, rotate into those types of positions. Okay. So if we're playing an open guard here and I have maybe him stretched out one direction, I want to get him to step forward. So the way I do that, especially if I'm going to throw some this so they can see, this arm stretched out, I'm going to put my foot on the floor between his legs, heel nice and close to my butt, and I'm going to raise this here, and I'm going to bring him up and over me. But I'm going to stick him, push him in this direction. You're going to watch his leg here is going to end up stepping right into my armpit, and that's where I want it. And that's going to allow me to come around with my right leg to go to the single leg X, okay? So here, if I go too far this way, sometimes I find there's not enough room for me to get to the position I want to get into. I want this, but if he's too crowded on top of me, like that, then I'm kind of stuck, and if I don't have the flexibility to get my legs where I want them to get to, it's going to be a problem. So I really emphasize foot hits the floor, and watch my leg and my hand is going to make him stretch out. He's going to step here, and this foot's going to end up right in my armpit into that position. So my heel comes around. I put good pressure with my heel and his rib cage. In gi jiu-jitsu tournaments, if my foot crosses over his hip, I'm disqualified immediately. Okay, so I have to use my foot. They call it knee reaping. No gi jiu-jitsu, no problem. I can take it over, use it to take him down, go into heel hooks and different things. You guys are already really good at that. So I lock my foot against his rib cage here. I keep his sleeves. My foot here is going to come underneath the same leg. And I get my hips up nice and high, pinch my knees, and I get him to carry my weight. I drop my weight just a little bit. My butt stays off the mat, but come here. He feels his leg is now carrying my weight. Yeah. And that's what I want. This is the position I'm looking for. Okay? Here. Into position. I can keep these sleeves, or I can wrap his leg. Into that position. For today, we're going to look at wrapping that leg a lot. Okay? Wrapping that into a nice tight position. And then we're going to counter some things that he's going to do. The one sweep we're going to look at is very, very basic from that position. It's the basic, the very, very basic X guard sweep. Couple details in it that might change it for you. You've probably seen it before, or some of you may have, some of you may not have. Regardless, we're just gonna practice getting into that position for now. So my foot goes to the floor, close to my butt, so it allows me to be able to bridge. If it's too far away, I can't generate power. My foot needs to be close, okay? Put pressure here. I can bring it in and shoot it out, but I want it this way. Here. See how he steps? And I rotate my body. My position. Eventually we're going to look at grabbing that leg, but for now I just want to see if you guys can get into this position. Good? Give it a try?
Yes, sir.
All right. Throughout the rest of your jiu-jitsu careers, regardless of how long you compete or train, it's a form of a half guard called the knee shield. You've already been in it. If you've sparred anyone, I guarantee it at least once or twice, because people go into this position without even knowing they're doing it. It's almost like a natural instinct to try to get these limbs and stuff in front of you. So it's a form of half guard where my leg is inside. So this is half guard. We all know that, correct? So I'm going to open that half guard up. This foot here, I turn my toes and put him to the floor. I'm hooking his leg. Okay, I'm going to show you detail that in a minute, so it's important. I don't just leave my leg over here. So I hook it to the floor. Ball of my foot goes down. Okay, my knee here is going to come up to the inside of his shoulder. Okay, I'm laying on my hip, kind of on my side like this. The goal is for me to keep this nice and strong. I put my foot on the outside of his rib. Some guys like to put it right on the thigh. That's kind of your preference, whatever your choice is. I'll show you why I like to put mine on the hip in a minute. I put it here. Okay, I always get a cross collar grip, either 4 fingers or thumb. I prefer 4 fingers. Lots of small, real mobile guys who like to invert and stuff will use this because they find it's easier for them to invert with that grip. I find inverting with this grip still no problem. Okay, it's still a thing you guys can do. But the main thing with this grip is to help keep this guy off of me, is to control the space between he and I. Okay, if I let him crush me down, so you see my arm is on the inside of my knee. Okay, it's never on the outside. It's going to help prop that leg up because his goal is to flatten that leg. Okay, so he could leg lace me, bring the hand inside, smash my leg down like this, anchors onto my lapel. Now I got a problem. Okay, even then, even if I have this grip and he's anchored onto me here and he's got good pressure, he turns his hips and he's really flattening me down, I'm going to have issue. He's going to start passing. Even I'm going to have a hard time pushing him away. So I cannot let this leg get flattened. So now with good force pressure here, and I have good pressure here, if he tries to flatten that leg, even if he's real strong, I can extend my leg here a little bit off his rib cage, and now go ahead, try to flatten it. It's going to be really difficult for him to push that leg down. Even with my little skinny legs, he's still going to have a problem pushing him down. Okay, so this is a nice, good defensive position where I can start generating offense from. Okay, my right hand is always watching his arm. Okay, I'd like to try to put it towards his bicep. My elbow tucked in nice and tight on his bicep. The reason being is if he puts this behind my head and puts his hip to the floor, bang! Now I got a problem again. This is awful. He's going to have a very easy position, a very advantageous position to start passing my half guard if he can put that hip to the floor. If my hand is here, he cannot put the hip to the floor. If he does, he's too far from my body for it to be any use to him. He can't come in, and then I'm just going to get up. So if I can't do defense from this position and just maintain this position, it's all for naught. So I have to get good at just maintaining this position. You'll see guys get to the half guard, into that knee shield position, just making space, and they just make a little hole for my left knee to come in onto his hip. Just sit all the way up for a second. See my knee? It's only made this little gap. That's it. That's all I need to make space. So once I've got that knee in just a little bit, even if he's crushing my head, making pressure on my face, it's very hard for him to stop me from doing this, extending. Once I've made that extension, that knee comes up, bang, I go right to my position. Okay, in the future, you'll see lots of guys that start to put that leg up and they start going into a combat-based position. So that's why I hook this foot. Okay, it's going to buy me time. He's eventually going to get that leg up if he's really trying to get it. Then I'm going to have to go to a reverse del hiva, but we're not there yet. Okay, so when I feel him trying to push, trying to bring that knee up, I have his leg hooked here. So when he tries to put that foot flat, bring the knee up, it's hard. I start to extend here like this, or I pull it in. So then he tries to go combat base again. I pull him in. I can't just let him easily go, now go combat. If I let this happen, he's going to start knee sliding and doing different things and start cutting through my guard. Especially if I do it again. If I can't hit this one, if I can't hit that reverse de la Riva position, see my foot stuck up inside here like this? That's good for me, bad for him. But guys like him who know that, they're going to get to that combat-based position with that knee up and not allow my foot to come in. Now I got a problem. Okay? So to hinder that, that's why this foot, my right foot, is turned to the mat and I make a hook. And if I need to and I feel that leg starting to come up, I can straighten my hook or pull it in. But I'm not going to just let him do what he needs to do with that. Okay? Once I'm comfortable in this position, my primary goal is to get an underhook and start coming up to what we call the dogfight position. So it looks like this. Outside leg comes in. This position. That's what I'm aiming for. My leg can come out or it can stay in, it doesn't matter. But first, I just want to see you guys going to the knee shield position and just kind of feeling comfortable with it. So for here, this is my position. Okay, regardless of what he does, even if he is able to stand up, I can transition to other guards from here very easily. Okay, it's like a safe position. You'll see guys go to this all the time, whether they're a knee shield guard player or not. They'll come here, even if it's in transition to something else that they prefer. But this is because it's very safe. It's very easy for me to defend from you. So they get here, okay, good, and then see what this guy does, and if he allows me to get an underhook, not bad news for him. Okay, and I have different, arm drags. There's stuff you can do from that position. Different sweeps. Pump him this way, bring him back. Okay, so you actually there's a lot of offense from that position you can generate. Lots and lots and lots. Okay, so here, oftentimes I'll start matches like this. Will be bang, bang. I'm just looking for it right away, all the time. And then whatever from there, just kind of moving into, underhooks, deep half guard, reverse De La Riva if he puts the leg up. I'm not going to have a choice. I push the far leg, I pull, and I rotate to my right. Look at my hip come out. Look at his foot. Stuck there? Yeah. This is a good position for me. Now, very easy, I make that transition. Boom. My hips come up, I squeeze, and I drop them just slightly so we carry some of my weight. I still need this space. Okay? And then I go into my sweep. My very basic sweep, you've seen Marcelo do it. Knees up high, turns it to the mat. But watch what my right foot does. This is a detail lots of time is missed. When I lift my hips and I turn, this foot's going to hit him here. Now I can either bring my heel to my butt as I come up, or we sit down and I attack his ankle, and I can still scoot out of there anytime I want if I need to. Here. Now if I do the sweep, even if I stayed here, I can still obviously fold my shoulder or fold my elbow, and like you did really well. Boom. Arch finish. Or I can just grab the pant leg and scoot out. I have a good pant leg here now, and then I can start going to my position. Whatever you like to do. For reverse De La Riva. So I'm in my reverse De La Riva. So now if I want to do the same thing, I want to get him forward this way. So regardless of what position I like to hold, here and here, normally this is what I'm holding. Good bite here with my reverse. I kind of get a side kick on his hip. I don't normally go here. Not that it's wrong, but you got to watch your heels, right? Especially in this club. You guys got good heel hookers. So here, now, old Roberto Satoshi stuff, bang, back he goes. But if I want him to go forward, my foot hits the floor. I'm going to come up into his armpit with this hand that was on his ankle, and I'm just going to push here, get some momentum here, and he's going to put both hands on the floor. I can post here so he can't bring it back, but the goal is now I grab his ankle, not his leg, his ankle, to pull it out. Back to my position. So that'll work if he's standing or on his knee. Doesn't make a difference. If he's on his knee, there's a sweep that we'll look at later, but then I'm back to my spot. Looking for that sweep. I prefer this grip, but we'll talk about that anyway. Let's just see how many ways we can get there. Awesome. Guys start to defend it. They start to step back and start to peel that heel. Almost always, right? And then they can turn and, look up, try to single leg face down, try to peel that leg or whatever. Like a million different ways. Back to this. Here, so I don't want him to turn and do this. Okay? If I can get that pant leg, even better. So here, palm up. Yes, always up. Because now it's very difficult for me to break that. It's very easy for me to break that, especially if I'm stepping back. See, palm down. If the palm is down, I step back and pull. It'll break every time. I start straightening my leg. And you're got a problem, right? Switch over. So when I get to my position, I'm here. I'm always looking for this. Palm up at the knee. Especially if I start to go and he's a good athlete, he's gonna scramble that leg back. But if I'm holding the leg, you watch a girl named Michelle Nicolene use the sweep into the ankle lock. She's got a good video out there somewhere on YouTube land. Really good with this position, and she hits that ankle lock from here all the time. Yeah. Bang, nice and tight, And then when I start to go, watch my right foot still has to make that. It's going to give me that extra torque. Bang. And now I can go into my positions. Because I have a good grip on the inside. It's tough to break. Now, the problem is people start saying, what if I can't? He knows that he starts to kick that leg back and I can't reach it. Okay, so very simple. I'm here, got my grip, but he steps back. So all I'm gonna do is put my left foot on the floor. I'm gonna kick him forward, okay? It's the same thing I do if he reaches down and grabs my lapels, right? Because he doesn't want me to twist him back. So here, he's gonna put both hands on the floor or he's gonna smash his face. Okay, there it is. Usually I hit it when as he's trying to right himself.
Right.
So even if I can't, there it is,
back.
bang.
Yeah.
He steps back again, puts that leg back so I can't reach it.
Yeah.
There it is.
Right.
Now I go.
Okay.
So you start practicing that to hit it in transition with timing, right?
Yeah.
Over he goes, he comes back, boom. I hit it as he's coming back, I'm looking for that grab.
Right. Okay.
So as he's coming back, I'm grabbing and then going to that
Trying to
sweep at the
sweep
same
back.
time, so use that his momentum, trying to right himself. He's not going to stay out there like that.
Right.
Because if he does, I can switch into an X guard and stand up.
Right.
He's not going to stay.
Yeah.
He has to come back.
Yeah.
He has to make that step. It's like you see guys back in the day, not so much back in the day, but they use what Salo Ibero kind of started many years ago, using what's called an inside-out De La Hiva. So he would use this. A reverse De La Hiva hook and an outside grip.
Okay.
Instead of this. Or this, right?
Yeah.
Same side, same side. He'd switch the side.
Okay.
And he'd just sit. Left leg does nothing. Okay, so he can kind of do whatever. But it's tough to pass this position.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. So very easy for me to sweep from it. If I can get his leg. Very easy. Same principle.
Right.
Regular sweep, up we go. And if I just stay here like this, he used to sit here like this to rest. He'd be tired. So he'd get here, bang. Dude, just move around a little bit.
Yeah.
If he comes too high and lets me grab, he's gonna get swept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I have to do is hips up and turn, kick. He's going. So he had to be careful here. Didn't give him a lot of options.
Right.
If he tried the back step, he starts stepping back with that left leg. He started getting caught here.
Right.
Or I would come over. I'd invert and start taking the back, or not me, but guys would start doing it, grabbing the belt.
Oh yeah, I just
And
kind
start
of
looking
sit
for
myself
me.
down.
And what do I have now? Berimbolo, right?
Right.
So guys would get caught. They would sit themselves. That back step would give the berimbolo up. And then they'd be like, oh, now what? So guys would be stuck there and not knowing what to do. Just trying to free that hook. Meanwhile, the guy's resting. Works really well no-gi as well. Same thing. Same thing.
Mike Fowler.
Oh, he uses that?
That's his main thing.
Okay.
He's got. You watch a highlight of him. It's all that same position. Inside out.
Yeah. So just makes that hook. Makes it outside.
Guy step and it turns into like the.
This is an impossible sweep.
Yeah.
Yeah, similar. We're going to do one from a different position today. Practice that real quick. Not going to take too much time on that because it's very similar to the first one. And you guys can practice that when I'm on your own anyway, over and over again. Because I'm going to get into some stuff defending when he gets. He'll put me in the single leg hips. When guys start to do this,
Right. Okay.
because this is what guys will. They feel like a better base from here, right? And they know they can't get heel hooked on IBJJF, so they'll come down.
Yeah.
Right, and then they're trying to either go 50-50 or some other nonsense that we're trying to avoid. So then I'm going to show what I do from this guy's perspective. Good. I start trying to push him here, and then when I come back, it's like a spring, boing. And for you guys especially, who like the heel hooks and stuff, coming into that position is very.
What would you do? Okay, if we're in an IBJJF tournament and I am at this angle,
I'm coming under all the time.
and you just keep your foot
I'm
on
coming
the
here,
stick?
and then I switch it to here.
Okay.
So I make a short hook on
And
this
try-
leg.
Okay, so like
I don't go to a
modified-
traditional X.
Okay.
I go to this leg only.
Okay.
And now it's very easy. We're going to do this.
Okay.
It's very easy for me now to do the technical stand-ups
Right.
and just push.
Oh yeah.
Because I have a short hook, my legs have more distance to push, so I have it's more powerful for me than just pushing the far leg, right? So on the short hook, it's kind of I curl my foot up almost in your groin, and then I can go take you overhead. Like there's lots of options. Okay, we'll look at the overhead run now, and then we'll transition to what happens if the guy puts his knee on the ground. Okay, so we're here. Same setup. I'll come on this leg. So I'm here. And this guy grabs my lapel. Very calm. okay, for this to happen, because he doesn't want me to extend him back. Even if I have this leg, sometimes it's difficult if he's real strong. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take his lapel, his sleeve, and I'm gonna grip it. This is really tight, but I can still get a good pistol grip. Here, it's actually a pretty good grip here. It's tough for him now. His arm's got to drop there, and I want it dropped there. Okay, here, and I'm just gonna look very similar to like that overhead sweep. I'm coming in, making that short hook. Okay, so I move my leg. I don't have to come across if I don't want to, but I can, because if I need to, I push him, and when he comes back, he goes up. I look over my left shoulder, and we come to the top. He can't base because I have his hand trap. Okay, let's try one more time. You'd be surprised how often you can hit this. Because guys will panic and grab your gi because they feel themselves getting. Remember the sweep as you guys are white belts? Remember that one? And this guy grabs him with the sleeves. That feeling of this, the first X guards or single leg X sweep is the same feeling for this guy as he felt when he was a white belt getting swept that sweep. So what does he do? Bang! He grabs the lapel. Super common. I start doing this. Bang! He does that. So I start to feed that lapel with a pistol grip usually to this one. Now it's stuck in there. I keep a good four-finger grip. I make space to make space for my left foot to come in to make that short hook. Bang. There. It's kind of in on his hip. I got a good bite here. And now I can push him away. When he comes back, it's like I spring load him. See my knees break? I load his weight by breaking my knees. Here, boom. Now I push with my left foot, my right foot as well. I look to my left. And then up he goes. Here, and there's no space. I'm not throwing him. We roll together. He's tight. His arm cannot come out. And then I can stay here, start passing, whatever my system is that I like to do.